Hi everyone, this is IntuitiveEdge. Welcome to my channel once again. It's time to take a look at our month ahead, the month of December already, 2020. Let's see what we have in store. I'll be right back and we'll get started. Okay, so I do have some cards laid out here, and here's what we have to see perhaps in store for us. I did quite a long spread. I wrote out a bunch of questions or areas of focus, and we have 12 cards, so I'm going to try to get through these as expeditiously as possible, but this may turn out to be kind of a long video, so we'll see. But the first issue that I felt we were facing, the most pressing issue for December, is in this area of the election and the fraud involved. Now, the card that came up for that was a reversed Seven of Wands. This card came up, again, as I said, reversed. This is a card of the overcomer, and getting the upper hand is a little bit challenging this month. There could be some more to see with that, perhaps more legal challenges ahead. It's crossed by the King of Swords, and he is in the position of what's represented by the past. So, and the way these cards are facing each other is the card of the overcomer, who's reversed, which is having a little trouble overcoming issues or problems, and his leg is pinned. It's the way the artwork is, the way that the cards fell to each other, pinned by this overbearing king. And so what I sense with this, with that essence not being able to overcome, or having difficulty overcoming this election fraud, and the fact that what's leaving is that overbearing king that is keeping things down and keeping the good from being able to overcome, that energy is leaving. So what I'm sensing is we're going to perhaps see some movement with the election, the fraud involved, but also we're going to see the power play begin to kind of lose its grip over the narrative, over the outcome. We may see little wins for the legal teams that are pursuing remedy in the courts. Perhaps we may see some movement by the Supreme Court, and that energy of the power structure, the old power structure that's been in place for so long, that is actually, the energy of it is shifting. Okay, that's what I get for that. But I want to continue so we can get the bigger picture for the entire month of what I see. Okay. The cause, the root of what led up to this, and then what we need to let go of. So this card here, this also came in reversed. I've got the Four of Pentacles. This is a card of security, hanging on to what's yours. It came in reversed, which is brings about the negative qualities, a fear-based, trying to hang on to your power, trying to hang on to what's yours, maybe wanting to do things maybe below, not above board, but below, trying to get your way through maybe not so honest means. It can be dishonesty when it's reversed, and it's related to security and being insecure, wanting to hold on to your power, but things are like slipping through your grasp. Okay, so that's the root cause of what's led up to this chaos in the election. Is there are some that are feeling as though they're losing their grip, they're losing their grasp on the power that they've known and the power that they've had. And that has caused some trouble with this election. That's probably been the root cause of this fraud that we've seen. Is there's certain people that want to maintain their power. They don't want to give it up. And what's interesting is what we're letting go of that's crossing this energy is this card upside down. Okay, strength upside down is not taking the initiative, not realizing your strength. Perhaps the population in general, as a broad brushes here, has perhaps been maybe lackadaisical or kind of taken for granted the rights and liberties and what we've needed to do as a population to maintain our system of governance. Maybe we've let slide and let slip people that have been allowed to be entrenched in power, who have been dishonest, politicians that have been dishonest. What I see with this, if that isn't the position of what we're letting go of, to me, I'm seeing with the flow of these cards so far, and this card of the Overcomer getting out from under that dominant king, is that the people are taking their power back. That's what I'm getting from this. So this strength to me as a major arcana is that we are going to be turning that around, I think, as in letting go of not using our strength, not using what we've had at our disposal, not being involved, not caring, being apathetic. That is turning around. There may be some kind of like a fire that's been lit, and people are beginning to say, hey, I shouldn't take this for granted. Maybe I should get involved. Maybe I should run for office. Maybe I should not just live my life and not care. Maybe I should start caring about what's happening, because as we don't, if we don't, we end up in a mess like this, where entrenched politicians fear losing power, and then they resort to all kinds of crazy means to maintain that power, and things have gotten way out of hand for a long time. And that's where we're at now. And that, I think, is turning around. That's what I see turning around. I think there's some people that are saying, I am not okay with this. This, if it doesn't stop with me, where does it stop? I'm going to put a stop to it. I'm going to get involved. I see grassroots people, everyday people. There's going to start being people that are going to be getting involved politically and otherwise. There's going to be people getting involved and starting to care. So the next section is the Great Awakening. Now, our security, represented by this card, our strength, our stability, our celebration, our family, everything that we love and cherish, this came in reversed. It's like we're realizing that we've come to a precipice and everything we've held dear is about to be dismantled, or has been being dismantled before our eyes, and that's being threatened. And the Great Awakening is that there are people who are finally coming to the realization of it. That's why the fire's been lit. People are beginning to want to become involved and to give up their apathy and to begin to care again. Now, with this Great Awakening is the turning point. Now, I've got the sun. The sun also came in reverse, but that's okay. The sun on that. There is a tide turning. This is the turning point. This sun represents regeneration. It represents newness, life coming forth, bursting forth. And this card is all about celebration and bringing things into the forefront that have been hidden, and wanting to celebrate, bring things out and celebrate. These are both reversed. It just means that this is what the focus is. This is the reason to want to care again, to want to become involved. And I see more people becoming involved in the political process, even, state, federal, down to the local level. And this sun on top of that is a very good card. It's a card, like I said, of regeneration, bringing new life, new people, new perspectives, fresh voices, fresh faces into the mix. And I see that happening. Okay. When I tuned into this month, I tried to get a sense of what we might be seeing. Apart from what the cards say, the cards are more about the energy that's surrounding. And sometimes I do get messages with the cards. But I just went to just look psychically at December. And one thing I did see was I got a picture of a helicopter, like an eye in the sky. A helicopter up in the sky, and it had a spotlight shining down on what at first I thought was like somebody's house. And I saw like up on the roof of this house, and I saw like troops or armed forces or police or somebody moving in and arresting someone. And then I realized it wasn't a house, it was more like a high-rise hotel, and like the helicopter was hovering over this hotel, shining a spotlight as people were being arrested or someone was being arrested. I wasn't sure if it was one or more. I got the sense of somebody either hanging themselves or being hanged in close proximity to this. So I don't know if it's within a few days of this, leading up to this. And I wasn't sure the connection with that, but I did feel some type of hanging associated. But I do feel that somebody was arrested on top of a hotel of some sort. I tried to feel into where this was, and I was drawn down to, I believe, somewhere near Los Angeles, California. So, and it was at nighttime that this spotlight was being shined on this hotel as someone was being arrested. I don't know if it was a high-profile person. It was almost like out of a Die Hard movie or something like that. It kind of reminded me of that kind of scenario. But anyway, so that's a specific thing I saw. So the rest are impressions of what's going to be taking place. I did do a meditation where I was drawn up, and I went as high as I could go, and as I'm drawing myself up in meditation in my mind, and I believe I went to the Hall of Records, because I found myself in this meditation in a white room that had like file cabinets and books, shelves, and I came to a table with a large open book. And it was like, I knew it was, because I was looking at the month of December for the United States, and it was like, the pages were like a movie, and I was drawn into this movie. And what I felt was there are people who are alive today who were also alive at the time of the Revolutionary War. Soldiers from back then have come back around again, and they are fighting once again, battling for this country. I did see, when I was drawn into that book, I did see a battle that was looming, and it was almost like the souls of the Revolutionary War were fighting once again. And it was like I was drawn in and I was kind of joining with them, kind of seeing what they were seeing. And I saw two opposing sides on a battlefield coming together, ready to fight again. And the side of the revolutionaries, the early Americans, were fighting the dark forces, so to speak, their enemy. And what I saw when I looked over toward the battlefield and what was coming at us, I saw the hordes of troops or mobs, but above them was the form of a large beast or monstrous, kind of scary looking thing that was ominous, a presence that was evil, I guess you could say. It was dark, it was menacing. And I remember it was like these men that were on the battlefield on this other side were like swearing their sacred honor once again. And I knew, and I was saying, that beast is only a projection. It doesn't have any power anymore. It's just a projection. It's power. It's a beast that's trying to project itself bigger than it is. It doesn't have power. And like with everything within me, it was like I was on the battlefield with them. So I was kind of like being with them. But like everything within me, and I knew it was everything within them too that were standing with me. It was like every last ounce, we just ran forth as hard as we could, yelling with every ounce of our being at this thing, this horde that was coming. And we were running into the fight, like fighting this thing. And it was like we were not gonna let it win. Now, I had taken a break earlier this evening. I've been working on this video like all day. I come back to it, and then I have to go do something, and I come back and I do a meditation, and I'm back in this again. So this has been a long process, really, for this month ahead video. It's not just me sitting down and going, hi, here it is. This has been a long thing today. It's been an all-day process. But I flipped on something on the television, and I think it's very appropriate for what I later saw when I was in meditation. But this was earlier in the day. I watched a show where a woman, her mother was being, it was a paranormal show. A woman was having spiritual trouble in her home, where a dark entity or force was toying with her and tormenting her. And the daughter went into this home to see what was going on, to try to see get to the bottom of it for her mom, to help her mom out. And the daughter went into a closet where they encountered an entity, and this entity was menacing, and it gave her a severe headache. And she had to actually be carried out of the house by her husband and another. And she was like, when she got out of the house, she kind of came to because she had this bad headache. But as soon as she was out of the house, it lifted and was gone. And she says, I'm not leaving. I am not done. I am not going to give up. This, whatever this is not welcome. And I do not want it hurting my mother. And I'm not going to give up until this thing leaves this house. And she said, I am going back in. And she had already been, trying to fight this thing, and it was like physically attacking her. And after all she'd been through, she went back into that house, back into that closet where this energy was, and she laid down the law with this thing for who knows how long. But she said, I am not leaving until you leave this house. And she basically told that entity, that ghost, whatever it was, that it was no longer welcome, that this was her mother's house and it had to go, and on and on and on. And she would not take no for an answer. And finally, it broke. And the other people in the house said it was like, suddenly it was like the light came in through the windows again, and the energy lifted, and this menacing, angry energy had lifted. And I thought, this is similar to what I saw when I was in meditation later on tonight. Was this same scenario of, we are not going to give up on this country, if you could think of it that way. What these men in the Revolutionary War, they gave their lives, they gave their sacred honor, and they said, we are fighting this and we are not going to give up. We are not going to go home empty-handed. We are going to fight this thing. Come hell or high water, we're fighting this to the end. And that energy is with us in December. I don't know how it's going to look exactly, but I did hear when I was in meditation that December 10th was going to be an important date. And I heard the words of a previous president in my mind that talked about a date that would live in infamy. And I think perhaps December 10th may be a day that goes down in history, this coming December 10th. So we'll see. Okay, that's another nugget I got. I know I'm jumping around a lot, so I hope you can hang with me, because I'll try to lead a trail where I'm going so you can follow, okay? Something I heard also in meditation was that men and women must learn to harness the power they have within themselves before they can truly be free. It seems to be in human nature to seek freedom. But what I felt was that power is within. Freedom experienced is manifested. It's not something that you gain. It's something that you birth from within yourself. And that is where we have to get to. It's like learning to harness the power that you have within and then express that. It's not the other way around. The people have to want to find the fight within themselves to not give in to apathy. That's what's happening in December. It's like people are deciding, I better get in the fight. This is worth fighting for. I don't want to live under the thumb of corrupt rulers anymore. Now, the awakening, taking life and liberty for granted. When enough people decide to stand up and that life is worth fighting for, that will be the turning point and the sun will rise again. So it's like there's a tipping point of enough people that decide that they want, that this is worth fighting for, that this country is worth fighting for, that they don't want to just roll over and let corrupt people win. What's coming into view is, I got the give and receive card, the give and take card, and it's reversed, which to me it's like the energy is flowing back the other direction now. There's a turning point that's coming this month where the power structure is going to be reversing course. So I'm just going to read what my notes here, okay? I wrote, those who have been plundering and taking from those less fortunate, those who have given in to bribes, those who have sought wealth and power at the expense of their fellow countrymen and women, their time in the lap of luxury is up. time is up for the corrupt. We will see a return, a right recompense. Those who have hoarded for themselves will have it taken from them. Those who have been unjustly treated, on the other hand, will be rewarded back what they have lost. So this is like turning around. The tables are being turned on the corrupt ones and on those who have been the victims of that corruption. Things are shifting. The powerful are losing their power, and those that have been asleep and have not been using their power are going to turn around and regain that power again. That's what's happening in December. Let me see, more notes. Those at the top who have held power over others unjustly will be brought low. I wrote again more. The fight is not over. The battle is not yet won. So December is not going to be like the finished product. Okay, there's more work to be done. I heard learn to discern. Let's see, learn to discern who to follow and who to ignore and not heed. Achieving the impossible is standing firm, defense, which is causing retreat. I think there's going to be some things that will seem impossible and will turn into the miraculous this month. Things that we didn't think would happen will, both probably good and bad, but we're going to see a rising, I think, of people that maybe we didn't realize. Maybe the volume, maybe the sheer numbers of people that have decided that they don't want to live in a corrupt system anymore. That they want it to change. They want to change it for the better. They want to make that change and be that change. The view from heaven, I got the reversed hermit on this. And to me, this is that there's more work to be done yet still. So the view from above is saying it's not over. We're not done. There's more work to be done. But this is like reimagining ourselves all over again. It's like we're being reborn. This is a rebirth of our nation. And number 12 is pressing the reset button. And again, I wrote, this is not over. The United States is being reborn, and this is a chance to begin anew. And we have a messenger on that, the Knight of Wands. And that's when I got the sense of more of the Revolutionary War. The heroes from that war, people coming in. It's like when George Washington crossed the Delaware. It's like the fight wasn't over. The battles were won, certain battles were won, but there was more to do. It's like, now what? Now we have to build our nation. Now we have to build why we're here and give ourselves a set of rules and laws so that we can live. What do we do from here? This is like 2.0. We get to reimagine a system that doesn't favor the corrupt, that doesn't allow for corruption to grow again like it has and metastasize like it has. I also got the sense for December that this was a time, it's going to be more clear for people to decide what side they're on. Do they want to fight for their country? Do they want to fight for a future that they want to see? Or are they going to side with the corrupt politicians and the status quo? It's going to be even more clear as the lines are drawn. It's like, whether we want to or not, it's like we're going to be forced to pick a side. You can't straddle the fence. You have to choose. And then work within the framework of what you have and rebuild it from the ground up. This is a rebuilding phase. Perhaps the best part of this spread, and I'll show it to you at the end of the video, but perhaps the best part was the bottom card. It was the devil reversed. The devil card representing bondage, corruption, greed. It represents addictions and despair and depression and hopelessness and all of that. It's reversed. It's like the power of darkness is being broken. And we have the sun card that came out. And the sun card, let me look at my notes, came out on the awakening and the turning point. We have the sun on that. This is we're in a new phase. We're in new territory. And we're going to see some things happening this month that's going to change, I think. The status quo. It's like we're in new uncharted waters in some ways. This isn't going to look like what we've had. This isn't going to be what we've been. This is reimagining ourselves into something new and better, learning from our mistakes, caring once again about the country, and no longer being apathetic toward what happens. It's like we're caring again. I think that's all I've got for this. There was just a lot of ground to cover, and I hope you got a lot out of it. I know it was kind of jumbled. It wasn't like my usual videos, but I hope that it made enough sense that you could follow. And take what you want from this to heart as you go through this month. And stay safe. Be informed. I do want to say, I do believe President Trump will be reelected. And I think once that happens, I do see that there's going to be some unrest as a result. I do think that's going to take place. But it's not going to last forever. That's just a dying breath of this old system that needs to go away and be reborn into something better. Okay. I think that's all on this. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it. We'll catch you next time. This has been Intuitive Edge.